Good day and welcome back to the Basics of Computer Science and Information Systems. In this part of Module 3, we will continue with looking at the different types of information systems, specifically business information systems. We talked about the computer-based information systems and business information systems, and we also looked at a number of business information systems, which we will start by looking at each one of them specifically starting with the transaction processing system. And like it's defined here, it consists of a hardware and software which are computer based, and they host a transaction oriented application and that performs some routine transaction. So the idea is if for example you look at if you've been in a company or an organization uh, like when you're trying to reserve airline tickets, or you want to enter some sales into an entry, you might need some kind of information system that helps you keep track of how the transactions are carried out. Or for companies that do payrolling and okay, keeping employee record in manufacturing companies, showing how many batches of items are manufactured, how much they cost, or depending on what kind of information, even shipping information, and depending on what you want to store. So which simply means in a transaction processing system, there's some kind of database that is being maintained, and there are transaction processes in terms of batch or online or real time, depends on what you want, or the payroll, or employee record, and depending on the query or inquiry you made, the system acts in a way that it brings out the specific information and reports out that information. And basically this happens at the lower level here, where you are mostly involving the workers who are mostly doing the work. And so here's also an example: the transaction fed into some kind of a system that captures it, processes it, and it's being reported, and you can also update. So if you're working as a secretary, someone who organizes the payroll, or HR, or someone who takes care of entries in a manufacturing or supply chain industry, you probably would have come in contact with an example of a transaction processing system that helps you keep track of what you do. And that's basically what a transaction processing system is all about: actual data fed in to be displayed, processed and then displayed in certain ways, which are called transactions. And each transaction, is different. So to look at another system is the Office Automation System. Now it's actually a kind of tool, you know, in business organizations or in any industry that requires it to move, from one system, move data from one system to another in such a way that, you can use that efficiently and effectively, and that doesn't really require human intervention. So it's very automated, and that's why it's called Office Automated or Automation Systems. And the tools here help you to organize and manage a lot of things in order to accomplish your tasks and processes. Examples of where you can find this when you're in a hiring process or interview, where you see that instead of making phone calls or stuff, you can get emails automatically telling you you have an interview. And also when people are interviewed, the interviewee, can enter immediately the feedback in an interview in a system, such that the HR people already have that information. And it's also employee help desk, where you can do a lot of office related stuff in meetings, where you can send Outlook meetings and people know there's a meeting instead of calling everyone. And form autofill, in database management systems. And these are the several areas you can actually look into. The tools such as Microsoft Office, Apple Works, depending on the area you're into, there are a lot of tools that you can use here to help you automate some things. So you might want to do a financial calculation, for example. You can use Microsoft Excel to do that. You might want to write a list of things or keep a database of things where you can just query it to get certain set of information. You can use Microsoft Access for that. These are office automation systems or tools that helps you to do things without so much or spending so much effort and time. Makes it efficient. And based on this, we come to the end of this particular video, and we will continue with the other types of business information system to give you some insights into them. But you can also go and read about the ones that we talk about and find materials online to really understand them in details. But this gives you some insight into them. Thank you, and see you in the next video.